another episode of Stu and the Nunn, an online radio show and podcast focused on national security, politics, and selfless service. We're here to give you an honest opinion, different perspective, and hopefully a few laughs. We do this by not only interviewing guests, but also sharing our own perspectives and asking you, the listener, to interact with us on our chat room, via our Facebook page, and of course, on Twitter. Keep it funky.
That's right. It's time to keep it funky. You know, it's Troy made that intro. At first, I was not a fan. At first, I wasn't a fan. I was petrified. He kept bringing Funky down on Funky Street. But anyway, so here we are, Stu and the Nunn. It's not an episode. It's just going to be some Toby talk. Unfortunately, Stu's little dude is not feeling well and is spending some time under some care of professionals. So Stu's focusing his attention there, as he should, as all good dads and parents do, and friends do at times like this. But I'm just going to rap with you all for a little bit, chat with you all for a bit, and kind of talk about what the haps are. I've kind of been out and about within the country here and other countries lately, and that's why I just ate some poutine real fast to get my mind right. I got some good old-fashioned Canadian something right there in a Canadian glass that my dad bought while getting gas fill-ups, and I think this is 1992 because it was the first year I drove the Alcan Highway. And so every time you got a fill-up of petrol, he would buy a glass and built a set, because it was the year I turned 16. I drove the Alcan Highway by myself, and now I drink only the finest of whiskeys from gas station glass. I've had it all my life. Well, not all my life, but over half of it, because I'm getting old. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. I see the shards there, and it's great to see everybody. I'm trying to get the social media going. If my man Daniel Eric was handy, he would be straightening me out, making sure that my social media wizardry, was appropriate, because you gotta like, oh man, what do you on a page I manage? Yeah, like how about my page? No, that's not the one I wanted, but we're gonna go with that because my wizardry sucks. My social media wizardry sucks. I'm Bush League, but at least y'all can hear me. It's sounding like everyone's there. We have had a lot going on this past week, and it's that's right. The Alcan does rock. It's an interesting time in the world. I'm going to say the world because in the past 4 or 5 months, it feels like I've had the benefit of being in about 6 different countries. And I'm counting Texas as one. If people that know me, they're like, well, is it really 6? But Texas counts. The attitude and understanding of life in different places, our understanding and attitude of life here is so different, and it varies from region to region. The region dictates the politics that people have there, it's man, why does this not allow me to share to my own page? But who cares? My sister and brother-in-law were just visiting from England, and they live in the great Liver town, Liverpool, the home of the Liver Birds. Also, the Red. You will never walk alone. That's right. What's up? Shout out to UEFA Champion League champions. But they think because I live in Texas that everyone in Texas has a gun. They were surprised that as I traveled, I wasn't, strapped with plethoras of weaponries. But the understanding of that is purely stereotypical, and it's not. And my family know me. They know that I serve this great country here, the United States of America. They know that I'm an advocate for all of the Bill of Rights. I'm an advocate for free speech. I'm an advocate for all of those rights because that's why I moved here. That's why I immigrated to this country. That's why I stayed here. That's why I know that this is the greatest country on earth to raise my children. There's nothing wrong with the country I came from. There isn't. Canada's this wonderful place. They have great people. In fact, some of the best people in the world, the greatest people in my life are all Canadian. But the subtle differences in the Bill of Rights just can't be ignored. And, the right to say whatever you want, the right to be able to do what I'm doing right now, getting on the internet, broadcasting via radio waves, be it, the internet, be it social media, the ability for me to get on here and say what's on my mind without recourse. Now, every now and then, we'll say something that might violate a certain company's community standards, or what they think the community standards are, and shut us down. But that's a private company, and they can't, they can't press charges against me. They can't prosecute me. They can persecute me, but they can't prosecute me for feeling the way that I feel. And first and foremost, let me just say that America, as well as some other countries recently, have endured some horrible tragedies, from natural disaster to terrorism to unexplained trauma. And my heart aches for all affected by it. I don't like it. I don't understand it. And in business, when I don't understand something or I don't like something, I tend to have a knee-jerk reaction and try and troubleshoot it, problem solve it, brainstorm it, war game it, try and find the SWOT analysis of it, try and find whatever I can so that I can mitigate it the best that I can. And the reality is, there's no cure for hatred other than one thing only, and that's love. You can blame guns, you can blame a person, you can blame a party, you can blame whatever the hell you want to blame. The reality is, the only thing that is to blame is a lack of love. And you want to take it down to the root of it, you can take it down to the root of that individual, you can take it down to the root of your heart, you can take it down to the root of who raised you, you can take it down to the root of anything around you. But the bottom line is, you're always going to end up, no matter what, it doesn't matter what scientific approach you take, it doesn't matter what scientific understanding you have, it doesn't matter what metric you follow, love. If you want to know why young men are committing crimes in certain areas, it's because they lack moral mentors, they lack father figures, they lack guidance and accountability from elders or seniors, tribal leaders, however you want to look at it, however you want to put it into that situation. And leadership, a great military man once taught me, is loving everyone beside and below you, and loving those above you as well. Now, not the cheesy way, but respecting them, appreciating them, empathizing, sympathizing, engaging in an emotional connection to those people around you and investing good things into their lives, investing what is crucial to making their lives better and their family lives better. When we look at some of these statistics, we're seeing that, we have fatherless boys. It's tragic. It's heartbreaking. I was blessed. I not only had a father, I had a single father that was one of the most amazing men ever. And there's no substitute for that. But, I had to supplement the other side of that equation. I had to have the other side supplemented, complemented, added to, because I was lacking on one of those parental units. The lack of love and understanding for the person next to you. How you can look at another human being, and full disclosure, I have looked at another human being and not understood why God put them on this planet. Did not understand why that mentality, why that person, why that culture, that behavior, those traditions were created. And having to humble myself to realizing that's not my place to decide. That's not my place to comprehend. It's my place to accept. It's my place to love, and it's my place to embrace. And, there's people going around talking about rhetoric of hatred, talking rhetoric of personality, talking rhetoric of party, talking rhetoric of lack of party. This is an internal issue. And when I say internal, I mean inside of you. This is either you believe in the goodness that created you, or you don't. You either believe that, because you have something to offer the world, so does the guy or gal next to you. That's what to me is so mind blowing. How people can look at anybody else on the planet and not see that they have a contribution. Perhaps, I read too much, Steinbeck as a kid, or Hemingway, or Dickens. Every character in those books, every person on my neighborhood, every person in your company, every person in your church, every person in the shopping mall, every person in a Walmart, even the ones that have the outlandish outfits and are shopping in incomprehensible ways, have a contribution to humanity, have a contribution to this earth. And who are you to decide its value? I hope that we take a little bit of time and we just love on each other, because that's really the cure. No red flag law is going to change the impression that you can make on somebody by extending happiness, extending joy, extending a smile, extending an opportunity. I am going through the immigration process to this great country. It's no big secret. Everybody knows that. That knows me knows that I'm a proud Canadian. I'm proud of where I came. And yet, with all that pride, I still want to participate in the greatest opportunity on the globe, and that's the United States of America. Why you got to hate on somebody because they want to participate in that? I love it when people. I was talking to a dear friend of mine the other day, longtime guest of the show, definitely, one of the show's favorite people, Sarah Lee, from Waypoint Vets and A Vicious Cycle. And she asked me this really cool question. And she's like, well, what's your argument when people ask you about when they say, oh, are you here to take an American's job away? It's like, no, I'm not. An American is absolutely welcome to start any of the businesses I've started. An American's absolutely welcome to do any of the jobs I've ever done, to include serve this country. An American is most welcome to do that job. Not taking those jobs away. Not my intent. And when people say like silly things like, well, we got to watch out what immigrants do because they're here to do this and they're here to do that. Well, they're here to participate. They can clearly see that this is a great place to be, and that's why they're coming here. Like, no one ever like looks at like across a fence and sees a house on fire and pit bulls in the yard that are like chewing, or pit bulls is probably a bad example, wolves. So let's use timber wolves are in the yard chewing on carcasses, hyenas, jackals. There's snakes slithering around and been like, paradise. I'm going to leave this nice comfort that I have right here, go into a predatory environment, and I hope I make it because I think that's the best chance, and that's where I'm going to take my kids. No, like Maslow's hierarchy, we're not doing that. People are coming here because they see the opportunity. Now, there's processes and there's expectations, and the bar is set really, really low in terms of what you can come here to participate in. And that's where I take issue, because people are like, oh, well, the system's so hard. Well, nowhere in the system are you, if you do it properly and you enter in and you seek asylum, you go to a port of entry, any of those things, like at no point are you going to be hunted down and killed. Yeah, it's hard. It's frustrating. There's paperwork, and every now and then, like, you got to spend a couple of dollars. But let's talk about the dollars. So, to become an American citizen, if you hire a lawyer, it can get expensive because, lawyer fees are set by the lawyer. But if you're just looking at paying like the regular bills, application fees, fingerprinting fees, blah, blah, like you might get to $1,000, all right? You hire a lawyer, you add a couple of grand on there. People are paying $5,000 to $10,000 to get smuggled into this country. So, like, let's be a steward to our family's fund, and let's be more appropriate, and let's just apply, suck it up, and then pay less and be here legally. People are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for houses they can't afford. They're willing to pay for cars they can't afford. They're willing to run up credit card debt. They're talking $1,000. Like, don't go to Starbucks for 2 months and you're good. You got it. You're here. You can pay your bill. I don't know, everyone's like, oh, that's very Marie Antoinette, right? Let them eat cake. Let them not go to Starbucks. The point I'm trying to make is the amount of money that you spend hiding from a fair system, you could easily go through that system. It's just misinformation. It's fear. If you're a good person, like man, I'm not even a great person. I'm okay. I'm alright. I came here unskilled, ugly, much scrawnier, and with bad taste in women. And I still have been able to pull it out. Let's be realistic. Let's be fair, and let's be just to each other. Guns. Everyone always has these knee-jerk reactions to these guns and these situations, and they like to throw around buzzwords, assault or assault weapons or whatever. A guy running through a mall with a machete is going to have just as much effect as the guy running through the mall with an AR. In fact, he might be more effective if he put any thought and effort into what he was doing, because he doesn't have to reload. But anyway, it's not the gun. And a knee-jerk reaction like, oh, we're going to ban guns. Well, I mean, I'm sure every firearm company in the world right now wants to hear the magic words, of gun ban, because they know it's going to be their best year of sales ever. And then there's zero ability to enforce. There's zero ability to make a hold on, everybody. I'm trying to get Troy on here. I'm trying to make that magic happen. He's trying to call in. Give me a second. But there's zero ability to deliver on that promise. So any politician that's tells you that they can deliver on it, they're not. Because all the good law-abiding people that bought those things legally, that bought them for a purpose, out of desire for self-protection, preservation, if they bought it because they're a collector and they admire it, they're not going to surrender it. Because they bought it legally, and it's theirs. And for whatever reason they have it, they're not going to be like, oh, well, let me just walk away from all this money. And no, it's not going to happen. There's zero ability to enforce it. And then when you can't send any internal militarized force to go collect it, because, well, that's exactly what the Second Amendment was written for, and you just empowered everyone to engage in civil war. Let's look at the greater issue. Let's look at love, and how do we love people better in our lives so that they don't do stupid things. And then when we identify people that are potentially going to do stupid things, let's make sure that they don't have the ability to do it. There's some great laws on the books already. The tragedy that happened, not in El Paso, Texas, but Sulphur Springs, Texas, I believe, at the church. That guy was an Air Force vet. He had been flagged, but the Air Force didn't forward the flag to the National Registry or National Database. If they had done that simple push of the button, that guy could not have purchased a gun on the open market and would not have been able to do it. Everybody hold on. I'm trying to get Troy on. I think Troy, if you're watching, I'm trying to communicate with you, but it's going to be loud for a second, so I'm going to mute this. Well, that didn't work. So that didn't work. So we're gonna try and figure something else out. But the sorry for all the noise in everyone's ears if you're on Spreaker or on any of the restreams. I we'll figure it out. But the bottom line is we need to take a realistic approach. We need to pay better attention to those around us. And that starts at your house. That starts by knowing your neighbor. Taking the effort to engage in relationships. It takes the ability to put this down and have a conversation and look people in the eye and communicate, get to know them, speak into their lives, let them speak into yours, invite them out for dinner, break bread at your house with them, demonstrate that that person that lives next door to you has value to you, other than the fact that they're maintaining your real estate value. All right, we're going to try and get Troy here going. All right, we're going to try one more time, so bear with us, everybody. We're going to mute this. Oh, is that Troy? There he is. All right, let's see if I can get like.
Bring me in.
Let's see if I got the skills that pay the bills.
You got the technical chops there. Hear me okay?
Oh, you sound Lima Charlie, as someone would say back in the day.
I bet Doug Mullen would say 5x5.
Oh, the Shard, is he a 5x5 guy?
Well, he's a branch detail. It's a Sigo, so he was a Sigo guy after he was industry guy.
Oh man, he was branch detailed. He was branch detailed.
Yeah, he's branch
detailed.
detail. We should have had him running our tech, or maybe your tech.
Oh nope. Oh, that's just two of me. That's not good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, hopefully everybody else can hear me.
No, I'm just screwing this all up. Trying to bring it into the frame. I actually can't even tell if like you're on the screen or not. That's how tech savvy. I see you, and but I don't think I'm populating you.
That sounds
and I'm like
something.
No, like that actually sounds suspect.
It does. That sounds a little like Steve Burton up in the Montana mountains.
Oh, yeah, I missed that trip.
Maybe ask the listeners, or viewers, if they can see me.
I'm like pulling you up on a different screen, and yeah, you're not there. So I like just bear with me, people.
All right, but anyways, hey, I was if they can hear me, hopefully they can. They said they can. I was tuning in there. I started a watch party. I don't know if it's still going on, but I tuned in for a little bit and listened to a little bit. Sound like you're talking some of the red flag stuff.
Yeah, no, let's talk about it. They're not going to see you, but they're going to hear you.
Okay, that's fine.
Where are you at right now? And are you drinking Tim Hortons?
Oh,
man, I got a thing of poutine right here. I was eating it at the beginning of the show. Look at you, Tim Hortons. Oh.
That's for you. My beautiful bride just got it for me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You need to give her a high five from Toby.
I will. She's a wonderful. She knows how to make sure I keep her around. She buys me small batch bourbon and tons. That's the one way a woman helps. Make sure you put up with anything. Those two things. So, anyways, no, I am at home, not at the Northern Studio, obviously, not far from it. Life happens. Kids get sick and things go on, and just that's the way it is. And I feel real bad, Toby, because I did a little live video this weekend and talked about how we're coming back. We missed the last few weeks, and then Murphy strikes again. And I was looking forward to doing a show from another place in New York with a number of my teammates from Afghanistan. We were all getting together this weekend. They've all gotten together. I'm not sure I'm going to make it there. I was hoping to do the show with them, but obviously, like I say, life happens. So I'm still here nursing a sickle. Anyways, I want to come on with you a little bit tonight because we've missed so many shows.
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to bush league it, so I apologize to everybody for seeing me 5 or 6 times. But now, like, what an interesting week, my dude. Everything happened so fast, and when we were kids, when I mean kids, I mean younger. I remember the concept of a 24-hour news cycle, and people talking about like if they ran news 24 hours a day, like how long would a news cycle last? And it's like I think this past week has been just an amazing example of like how quickly news happens, and then how quickly people get on to the next thing, and then how much stuff actually happens, from multiple shootings to presidential debates to
it's
natural
funny,
disasters to just
when you talk about the 24, I remember when CNN started, right? So I remember when it first happened, it was like 24 hours, and it was the only one, nobody else, right? They started this for 24 hours, and I remember I was at the age so where an hour a night was boring, right? I wasn't into the news, and it was like blah blah blah, whatever. That was back when the president came on. Every channel was taken up. You couldn't watch anything if the president was giving a speech. So when 24-hour news came, I remember thinking, and honestly I don't remember how old I was. I think I was in high school. I was just like, well, who would watch the news 24 hours a day, man? What kind of boring old people is that? Now like this, but now it's multiples. And what's interesting is, they've had to adapt and overcome, right? You can't be like, say, you got to step out from the pack. So what is to repeat the news every day is for the most part kind of boring, right? Especially if it's on a 30-minute cycle or even a 60-minute cycle. So now they throw in all these opinionated, right? That it can add color. They don't have to report the news factually and just say here's the news, right? They get to add their perspective and opinion, and whether it's Hannity or Maddow or whoever it is, to throw all that in there, they have to set themselves apart. Funny, everything. What's that saying, Toby? The more things change, the more it stays the same.
right.
The first full circle come back are people now are turning to things like BBC and OAN, One American News. One American News is what CNN was when it first started. It is nothing but news. Every 30 minutes, same news. There's no really opinion shows. There's no special shows. There's no one-offs. It is pure kind of straight news, reported the way it is, and move on to the next thing. And that is really starting to gain popularity. That's back. People are sick and tired of all the opinions. I mean, thanks to the internet and all the social medias that pop up every 2 seconds, everyone can share their opinion now. You don't need to be, Brokaw or Maddow or Lemon or anybody like that, or Hannity. All you need is a Twitter channel, or like us, a podcast show.
What? Like us?
Right? So people are over saturated with opinions. Everyone's got an opinion, like everyone's got an a-hole, right? And so people are now turning back to just give me the news. Just tell me what's going on. I don't need to hear what you think about it. Right? Just my perspective there. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Well, my thoughts are I've just managed to get you on screen.
Oh.
Yeah, no, like, ladies and gentlemen, not only the melodic voice, but there he is with his black hat in person.
Yes.
The stew.
Yeah.
Oh,
this
man.
This is a special hat. Special hat. This is from Four Spirits Distillery.
And
by a young lieutenant that out of the Oregon National Guard. One of these 4 silhouettes was one of my soldiers, and was killed in 2004. And this lieutenant got out and started his own brewery and distillery and makes this whiskey, small batch whiskey, in their honor. It's called the Four Spirits. It honors the 4 guys, one from New York and 3 from Oregon, that all died during the deployment. So
man,
this hat means a lot.
Yeah.
I realized I saw myself and I was like, oh, that's the one I grabbed today. So, all right.
So now, all right. So the you're probably violating all noise rules in a hospital. There's the Tim Hortons. There's the Timmys. The no, it's so interesting how quickly the cycle is, how dependent we are for instant information. Um, but yet I'm also like I enjoy the slow, subtle approach on some of it. Um, I like how we do take time to like address things and do a little bit of research and make sure the information that is being put out is factual. And friend of the show, Tim Kennedy, little Fox and Friends appearance this morning. Knew it was going to happen. Was able to share the information last night via Twitter, other social medias that he would be on this morning. And, pardon me, able to have a conversation about, why it's important that, we understand our roles as human beings on Earth. Telling people, that it's wrong to be who they are, and then at the same time saying you should be who you should be, but you can't be who you are.
What's that saying used to be? You do you.
Yeah, right? And now you can't be you. Like you can't.
No.
Like they're like toxic masculinity. Well,
yeah. I knew that.
What's wrong with swinging an axe and cutting down a tree that needs to be fell for all the right reasons, turning it into lumber and building something with it? Like what's wrong with that? Right. And it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl that does it. Like what's wrong with you being you because that's what you do? What's wrong with enjoying a good motorcycle? What's wrong with enjoying a good whiskey? What's wrong with enjoying your friends and family at Tim Hortons, liking hockey, liking figure skating? Like
baseball,
whatever it is, what's wrong with you enjoying it? If you want to enjoy interpretive dance, enjoy interpretive dance. Like, just because you like it, though, doesn't mean I have to like it. And just because you like it doesn't mean that I have to be genetically predisposed to like it. Just like you don't have to be genetically predisposed to enjoy hockey. Like...
It's amazing how the foundation and the facets of what this country is all about, why everyone flocks here, are the things that offend people, right? They don't want you to have the freedom of speech, the freedom of choice, the freedom of opinion, freedom of religion. It's all going to be their way or the highway. It amazes me how blind and just idiotic these people are. If they're promoting the basic tenets of communism. Yeah, I mean it's 110%. You think the way the state says, you do the way the state says, you come this way. As long as you follow along that pipeline, you are in good graces. You will not become an enemy of the state. That's absolutely the basis of communism.
Well, that's definitely like a way of looking at it, but even just more primal, more simplistic. Everyone talks about equality, but they're not actually talking about equality. They're talking about protection. And they like you don't want to be equal. You want to be protected. Women's suffrage was about women being able to have a vote, to make their own decision, to outside of the church not be submissive. And when I say that, I don't mean it in the terms the way people think I do. No, they were looking for equality in representation, equality in rights, and we have that called the 19th Amendment. For those of you unfamiliar, and not only do we have it for women, we have it for all humanity in this country. You have, no matter who you are, you have equal rights. But
regardless of gender,
right,
religion, all those things, right?
On the books now,
mandated by the government.
On the books now, there might be cases of prejudice. Without a doubt, there are cases of prejudice. But if you are preaching equality, that means like everybody has it. But what people misconstrued equality for is protection. Like they want to be a protected status. They want to be protected or have additional protections that someone else might not have. But that's not equality. That's protection. And you know, like there's all these like really cool bumper stickers with like equal signs for equality, coexist. I think I'm just gonna make a ton of money because I'm gonna hashtag coin phrase trademark protection. and just like create my own like little thing, like I want protected status as a bad facial haired, weird, receding hairline Kevin Costner wannabe Canadian. Yeah, I mean that should be deserving of protected status. I mean, I should definitely get a discount at Applebee's. Whoa, whoa. Bald is beautiful.
Right. That's what all my girlfriends say. No.
Justin Bieber doesn't count.
That's a good point bringing it up. How people, I've never thought about that. They have taken it. There are protected statuses. We just talked about them, right? Race, gender, religion. There's these things that you know, Department of Labor and Equal Rights Commissions and everything mandate you have to. And people want to get put into that, right? So now we have this. I mean, let's call it what it is, right? The LGBT. You know, they've just continued to pile on another acronym after another acronym. They all want to be considered a protective status, right?
Right.
You know, and there's things like there's some people who want to be protected when it's convenient for them, right? I had an old commander. I think he's still in. He might be the U.S. Forces Korea commander, General Abrams, who taught me this saying.
Dogface Soldier at Dogface Soldier on Twitter.
That's right. He's been on our show a number of times. He taught me this term back in 1990 of selective compliance. And that is people select, they selectively comply with the rules and regulations and benefits and all. I've used that throughout life, and I see examples of it all the time. And that's kind of where it is what you're talking about, right? They want to be protected when it benefits them, and only them. But they don't want to comply and honor those others who are protected that are maybe don't agree with them. A good example is they want to march and have the ability, and I say they, I mean any kind of class or group. So I'm not going to pick on anyone. They want to have a parade. They want to march. They want to protest. They want to do whatever to express their free rights. And they're the first ones that will scream First Amendment and American rights and all this stuff, right? And then the second that someone with opposing view has their freedom. Maybe their freedom is to wear a red hat instead of a pink hat with little two bumps on top of it. Maybe their freedom is to you know, do whatever, and they want to march with something. Then then they're not protected. Like, you know, you can't do that. They're not allowed to have that freedom that a day before that they screamed about or they were on the TV about. They won't afford that to anyone else. And then they say, "Oh, I'm going to protect the status." And maybe it is someone from the LGBT, and they go, you know, if you have a straight man parade, hey, we're straight men, you know, heterosexual, you know, they're going to have a meltdown. How dare you say that? You offend me, right?
Well, no, like I'm gonna interject, or I'm gonna jump in real fast. You know,
I'm
No, you're good. You're good. Last week or 2 weeks ago, uh, people got all their emotions in a knot because the president of the United States, uh, he talked us to a group of people with candor, and they didn't like what it was said. So they accused him of being a racist because he talked to women of color a certain way. Um, Now, I am not advocating, condoning, or endorsing any speech or behavior other than what comes out of my own mouth. That's I only want to be accountable for my own words.
Not even for.
Well, I mean, for you,
No, but I'm serious though. I'm serious. Even right, you're not responsible for the things that I say.
no, I'm not. But I mean, you're my brother, so like, I'll stand beside you and like, we'll go to the mattresses even when like I say something stupid or you say something stupid. That's because
mats, not mattresses. I think meant mats.
I meant mats. Yeah, we go to the mats. Yeah, definitely go to the mats. The when I say mats, I mean Matthews, but because I know that Matthews would probably do a better job fighting than you and I would. But the reality is like that whole identity, that whole protected status, that's the division. Like that approach, that understanding, that mentality of like, oh well, you can't talk to us that way, or you can't talk to them that way, or you can't talk to me that way, and like, no, like it's America, and it's the First Amendment, and if I think you're a jackass, I should be able to say, hey, you're a jackass, and if that hurts your feelings, well, so be it. Just like if you told me that I'm a dipshit, because that's how you feel, and it offends me, well, that's my problem, not yours. We got to stop like trying to, utilize, these fake protections, these fake classes, these fake positions to try and create this tribal division, because that's all it is. And when people are like, I'll say it, AOC was talking about like white supremacy is an issue, it's a disease. Well, you can go ahead and call it what it actually is. It's called racism. And like, but what you're saying is that only white people can be racist, and that's not true. I lived in other countries. I've lived in Korea, and I got to tell you, I didn't get the impression from a lot of the Koreans that I lived near and with and served with that they were big fans of other Asian countries neighboring them.
Oh, you're like, you've been in Europe.
Perhaps you don't need to go that far. Perhaps you can stay within the confines of the United States to see, go to the state of Hawaii. Let's see how they feel about people from the mainland.
Yeah. Go into a lot of inner cities. Like, go to a lot. I mean, you can go to an area that's heavily populated with minorities. They're going to the people that are considered minorities, and I use that term loosely. And the same thing going the other way. You go to areas that are heavy Caucasian, and there are people there. They're going to look and act and talk like me.
The hypocrisy and the of the hypocrisy and the irony brought together by these scenarios is too much for me to like not pass up on, because the comedic value is too great. Like, people are like, oh, that racist, like we wouldn't have like Beto, Robert Francis, the Irishman that calls himself Mexican. He's he's over there saying like President Bush shouldn't have like come to El Paso, but President Trump shouldn't have come to El Paso, but like he'd have been the first guy if Trump didn't go to El Paso to say, like, why didn't he come? Does he not care? But, like, this need to divide us, this need to, like, people talked about, well, in the previous administration, we didn't have this much hate. It's like, yeah, we did. Like, that was, like, in the previous administration, that's what led to and the promotion of Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Like, that, in name alone, is racist. Like,
I want to hit on two things real quick. So, one,
yeah.
I want to go back to the classes real quick. I want to make sure that we call it like it is there too. Some people in a certain group, i.e. the veterans community, act the same way, right? We know that. There's people that, I'm a veteran, they're going to offend me, right? The whole, don't shoot fireworks near my house, I'm a protected class. Look, we know anything, raise our right hand. Nobody forced us in that job, right? So,
yeah, that person's a weak person and disgusts me.
Right. So that's one thing I wanted to hit on. The other thing was, you bring up the AOC, the racist, and the use of that term. They use it so much, we're desensitized to it. And I want to put it in this context. Remember back in the early 80s, mid to late 80s, when gangster rap really started happening, and some of the first rap songs that came out where they were dropping the N-bomb. And when early rap came out, they wouldn't do that, right? It was too taboo for anybody of any race or anything to use the term. But then it became cool and hip to use dropping N-bombs, and then it got used so much, we became desensitized to it. And now, and if you think back to, I don't know, I'll go 15 years ago. If you called someone racist, I mean, you might as well drop the C-bomb on them, and you might as well, the worst words you could think of in our society, you might as well have called someone. If you called someone racist, it was the ultimate slander you could put on anyone of any skin color. Now, it is thrown at the drop of a hat that I fear people just ignore it, and it doesn't have a meaning. I just want to kind of get that out there and get people thinking about that, because I think people are numb to it.
Well, you bring a really interesting point up, and that's let's go to the old parable of the boy who cried wolf. The N-word got some great works of literature banned. And the use of that word has cost people jobs. It's cost people fortunes. But, like, there's this, like, secret understanding of who can and who can't say it. The rule of thumb should be, if one man cannot, nor can another.
Right.
Because, again, like, we're going back to protection. Like, well, it's cool if I say that because I have this protection. Like, if it's unacceptable for one person, then it's unacceptable for all.
It's not even acceptable if you use a different vowel, right? It's like, oh, if you use AR.
No, if it's unacceptable for one, it's unacceptable for all. And I'll be quite frank and honest with you. It's unacceptable for me. That word's not part of my vocabulary. I don't think it was worth banning and burning books over. But it's not a word in my vocabulary. Just like a lot of other words are not words in my vocabulary. But if it's not appropriate for me, it's not appropriate for anybody. Just like, there's no magic age for language with your kids. And, I have some profanity issues. I have some serious profanity issues. But, like, I can't get mad at my kids, and I can't be like, well, you can use that word when you're 16. Right. No. If it's inappropriate for you to use that word when you're 5, then it's inappropriate for you to use that word when you're 25 and 45.
You can't control it.
Yeah. No.
As you know, I have older kids, and
And every time,
even my oldest, if something said in my house, I'm like, really, dude, really, you had to say that here?
yeah, and then I cringe when I say it because then I'm like, man, that's all you got right now. Like you can do better than that.
We do go off of emotion and things like that, and things, but it doesn't make it right. And you, like me, we don't hurt our walk, and it's just not the way we know to act. There's no excuse for it.
But if it's not appropriate for me, it's not appropriate for anybody. And you know, like I get it. You know, I have family that lives overseas. There's different terminologies that get used. There's words that are commonplace there that are of the greatest offense here, and there's words here that are commonplace that are of the greatest offense there. But you know, the word isn't the issue; it's the intent behind it.
Yeah.
And if you like have that in your heart, like you're the problem. And the thing is, like you said, people start confusing the word with the intent or the emotion behind it, or the insinuation of words to the intent and emotion that's not behind it. Whatever it is, I'm not going to apologize for any leader. I'm not going to apologize for anything that anyone else has said in their lives. I'm only responsible for myself. But the reality is like I can be called a racist at any time. It's no secret that I went to the Middle East. It's no secret that I was called upon to serve this country with violent means, and I witnessed things, and I identified certain behaviors coming out of a certain group of people that if I speak frankly about it, I'm probably a racist. But that doesn't mean that hate governs my heart, and every time I see, an opportunity, I'm going to do something about it.
I don't think so, because I know you also had friends from that same demographic.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Right?
It's a threat's a threat, regardless of what.
Yeah. Someone's trying to kill you.
I love kids, but if that kid's red buttons I drive by, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, like the sad part of all this is, though, is like people use these words, they throw them around, like you said, we're getting desensitized, and
it's a joke sometimes. In my house, Toby, we're talking about something, and it's something totally innocent, benign, and it's become like, oh, aren't you a little racist, right? And it's just I do it too. It's like we have become desensitized in our own house that it doesn't even have a meaning, negative connotation. Everyone thinks about that.
No, we can't just cry wolf. We can't just sling mud. And if we just took a fraction of the effort to smile and show love to each other, a lot of these words and mudslinging wouldn't go. Like I was listening to Joe Rogan interview or talk with Bernie Sanders.
Oh, I saw a little clip of that.
And like knee-jerk reaction. Someone asked me like, "Hey, what are you listening to?" And I was like on a machine, killing calories and time. And they were like, "What are you listening to?" And I told them, and they were like, "Oh, like didn't think you'd be the guy that'd be listening to that." And it's like, well, why not? Like, I'm not curious about how a person can explain themselves or where they come from. Like I don't have an issue with that guy. Like, he's a man just like me. He has an opinion just like me. He has a belief just like me. It might not be the same, but like he's deserving of my attention. He's deserving of my respect and listening to him.
You're opening your mind to hear other opinions. Maybe have a civil discussion.
I'd rather I'd rather hear what he's about from him and form my opinion off of that than anybody's commentary. Like I don't I'm an infantry guy, so I'm not the smartest dude, but I'm smart enough to like know that I can make my own opinion of somebody, you know, like you know, like you know, give people the respect of the time that they deserve, give people the respect of the position that they hold. Hear what they have to say. Like, you might not like it.
Especially the guys that, I mean, he's a sitting U.S. senator. He has to, done some things in his life, and if he's trying to pitch his position, that's it.
Dude's made himself quite wealthy from being a politician.
Yeah. Hey, I know you texted me, Toby, but I'm on the phone, so I can't see. So I'm going to take your lead on whatever you're probably texting me, so just so you know.
I was just saying you had a booger hanging out of your nose, and you should probably wipe it. I was like super awkward. I was like trying to let you know you had some weirdness. No, that's not what it was. But thanks for indulging me. We've been on the air for quite a bit. Appreciate everyone tuning in. I didn't have this as an episode. So if you're listening, there's no episode number. I know Rob, the unpaid producer, is like, there needs to be, and he's right. We need to have our
quality control, man. He's trying to get us out of the
man. I love that dude. He's
worth every penny
dude.
you spend on him.
He is getting the best Christmas gift ever. You have no idea. Love that guy. Thanks for calling in. Sorry for the circumstances that led to the change of plans tonight, but hey.
Isn't technology great? I can do that. I'm sitting here holding a phone, and it's not really a phone; it's an internet device that happens to make calls. Is what they are nowadays. And we're able to do this, and hopefully, we've been gone for a few weeks and give our listeners and viewers something to watch and see and hear. And thanks to Rob and some of our own work, but mostly Rob. We are racked and stacked.
Holy smokes! Like I'm going through the guest list and like how much research I got to do, and like
we're booked. We are literally.
It's impressive.
If we actually put everyone in the calendar, we would be booked 3 months out right now with guests.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So we got a lot of good stuff coming. It's just been a crazy time, right? Summertime's crazy for everybody. There's a lot of family things, and we've had just Murphy doesn't rest, right? He throws these weird ones at us sometimes. So. I'm glad I was able to join Toby and didn't leave you hanging by yourself. I'm glad we were able to do this.
So we will be back with a guest next week. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Then the following week, we will be together. What?
Yes.
Broadcasting live together. So,
And I think that weekend, that Friday night, we made special one-off stuff.
There, you might be watching me make a speech.
Yeah, so I think you made it Thursday and Friday night. You made that pop up on your feeds of additional to the Nunn stuff going on. So
America.
We got some stuff going on. America, Canada, all that good stuff.
Tim Hortons.
Right. I just finished her off there, so just for you, buddy.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Don't be. But, good luck to the Canucks in the upcoming season. Good luck to the Stars. Good luck to the Sabres.
There we go.
And we will talk to everyone next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with us. And I'm proud of myself because technologically...
good tech tonight, I think. Everything sounds good.
Almost made it happen. Almost. It took me a while to get you on screen.
That's all right.
Thanks to our sponsors, Enlisted 9, and all the great folks with all the things that we do, Mighty Oaks, Pin Up for Vets, everyone that we support. Mesquite Creek Outfitters.
Right.
And, thanks to everybody.
We got some new stuff coming from Enlisted 9, too. Colton wants us, we got to reach out to him. He's like, to outfit us with all this new
I'll stop buying it off their website then, which you can find at 9lineapparel.com.
Yeah, don't buy anymore, man. He's gonna.
All right.
All right, and
Hey, like I
have
said,
a good night.
like I said at the beginning of the show, like a lot of these problems that are going on in the world could absolutely be solved if we just looked at the person to our left and to our right with a little more empathy, sympathy, adoration, and respect. And if we just loved people more and put a value on their life, the same value that we put on our own, we could do a lot to change the outcome of this. It's not gun laws. It's not knee-jerk reactions. It's not hatred. The way to get out of the darkness is to shine a light. And so shine a light in your world and be a light for people to look to. All right, that's all I got.